Hello, my name is Arnon Cohen. I'm a dermatologist. I'm working for Clalit Health Services in Israel, and I'm affiliated with the Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. And I'm a counselor for the International Psoriasis Council. Those are my disclosures. We have 125 million people living in the world with psoriasis. That is 2 to 3% of the total population of the world. 20 to 30% of those patients have moderate to severe disease. Those patients are candidates to systemic treatment. We're speaking about 25 to 37.5 million people. In this presentation, I will speak about 3 revolutions that we've had in 15 years. What are biosimilars? Patients' perspectives, the situation in the world, International Psoriasis Council's consensus statement, the current treatment paradigm, the new publications. Do we need to change our treatment paradigm, and education? So in 3 years, we've had 3 revolutions: psoriasis and the metabolic syndrome, biologics, and biosimilars. Since 2006, and this is a publication from Israel for 2007, we know about psoriasis and the metabolic syndrome. We treat our patients as a complete person, not only the skin. Later on came the biologics. First came the TNF-alpha inhibitors, followed by the IL-12/23 inhibitors, the IL-17 inhibitors, the IL-23 inhibitors. PASI 100, complete clearance is our expectation for now. Later on came the 3rd revolution, the biosimilars, and we have biosimilars from infliximab, etanercept, and adalimumab. So what are biosimilars? A biosimilar is a biological medication highly similar to another already approved biological medicines. Biosimilars are approved according to the same standards of pharmaceutical equality, safety, and efficacy that apply to all biological medications. Interchangeability means that a biosimilar drug and its parent biological compound are considered so similar that the patient could be switched from one to another. The EMA regulates the decisions on interchangeability are made by national regulatory authorities. So there are 6 major players in the biosimilar arena: patients, dermatologists, the healthcare system, the healthcare authorities, the companies which manufacture biosimilars, and the companies which manufacture the original drugs. The International Psoriasis Council had published in the past about the use of biosimilar. This is a publication from the British Journal of Dermatology about the preclinical analytical assessment to determine a similarity. And this is another publication about the clinical studies to determine a similarity. What are the patient's perspective? This is a publications from International Psoriasis Councillor Tiago Torres from Portugal, looking on patients' perspectives on the use of biosimilars. He surveyed 108 patients with psoriasis, and patients were asked if they were willing to switch to another biosimilar medications if it meant a price reduction. The majority of patients, as you can see in the blue bars here, do accept to switch to a biosimilar medications once a price is reduced. What is the world situation? In the International Psoriasis Council, we describe the situations of biosimilars in Europe, in Latin America, and across the world. After this, we came with a consensus statement by International Psoriasis Council councillors about the use of biosimilars in patients with psoriasis. And in the majority of issues regarding the use of biosimilars, we have a high agreement. 23 out of 23 councillors agreed on this statement, and so on. The only thing that with less agreement about switching a stable patient is switching a stable patient on a biological medication allowed, and this is the only thing that may be debated. What is the current treatment paradigm? First line is phototherapy, traditional systemic medications such as methotrexate, acitretin, cyclosporin. A second line would be biologics, such as the TNF-alpha inhibitors, IL-17 or IL-23 inhibitors. Those are the guidelines for the use of biologics from the American Academy of Dermatology, alongside with the National Psoriasis Foundation. That's for the United States. And these are the guidelines for Europe, and those are the British Association of Dermatology guidelines and the Canadian guidelines. But now there are new publications. A publication from Professor Gisondi from Verona. He calculated the cost effectiveness of adalimumab biosimilars as compared to methotrexate and to the originator adalimumab. To mention that the price for one vial of adalimumab biosimilar 40 milligram was 43 euros per one vial. This is a discounted price. And it was found that adalimumab biosimilar is cost effective, and its price was comparable to injectable methotrexate. Another publication from Professor Jonathan Barker about the health economic assessment of biologics, and it is stated that adalimumab biosimilar should be considered as the first-line treatment option for the cost-effective sequence. Adoption of adalimumab biosimilar can provide cost savings without loss of effect. Do we need to change our treatment paradigms? Biosimilars are cost-effective. With biosimilar, we can reach many more patients who need systemic treatment. This is 25 to 37.5 million people in the world. This is the current treatment paradigm. First line, second line. Where should we posing the biosimilars with the new cost effectiveness studies? One option to have biosimilars after first line and before IL-17 or IL-23 inhibitor. This is one option. Second option is to put biosimilars as first line alongside with a traditional systemic such as methotrexate. We need education. Dermatologists across the world do not have enough knowledge about biosimilars. There is a shortage of guidelines on biosimilar use. The companies that manufacture and distribute biosimilar medications are new companies, the dermatologists. We don't know these companies as dermatologists, and the companies as a whole do not know the dermatologists. We need better connections with these companies. We need biosimilar resources, both for physicians and for patients. We need practice guidelines for the use of biosimilars at both the country and at the international level. We need educational programs for dermatologists about the use of biosimilars. So to summarize, I've shown you 3 revolutions in 15 years. the metabolic syndrome, biologics, and biosimilars. What are biosimilars? The patient's perspective, the situation in the world, the International Psoriasis Council consensus treatment, the current treatment paradigms, and since we have these new publications, we need to change the treatment paradigm of patients with psoriasis, and we definitely need the educations about biosimilars. Thank you very much.